What up, everyone? This is Mr. Lord, Dr. Professor, Dark Joker, here with another edition of Traditional Fans with Opinions, where I'll give my reviews for whoever I watched, read, or played today. And who are Traditional Fans with Opinions? That is myself, and that is you, the viewers. With all that being said, on with the reviews. Once Upon a Witch's Death, Episode 12, and full series. So in this one, Meg has dreams about this magic disaster that killed her mother, and she was a baby at the time though. And then during the dreams, it's shown that Eldora, the Witch of Demise, who's like this witch that it's not liked by a lot of people, and people can't see her. So basically, Eldora was one who destroyed like that city. And so an Eldora comes to visit. It's revealed that Faust had trained Eldora. And basically that kind of makes, her in a way Meg's sister. And the reason Eldora is there is because the core is almost ready. And since Faust would be since Eldora would be away for a while, to deal with the core to purify the plant, which would take a few decades, Faust asked Eldora to finish like one last time. And so when Meg has her second dream and sees Eldora being the one to destroy the city she was born, she confronts Eldora, senses like her emotions, goes to her bedroom to see what's going on. Meg confronts her about what happened. Eldora admits that she destroyed, you know, the country that Meg was born as revenge for what happened to her birth family. And Faust adopted Meg as one of the only survivors to like atone for what happened. And Eldora leaves the house and tells Meg to kill her if she ever does something like what happened in that country again. So Meg does some research, learns that the country was Orlov, which was this military dictatorship that hated magic users, basically because magic was like a was able to destroy a lot of that country's military weapons. So Orlov like would kill like magic users. So Eldora killed Orlov because of a lot of the people in Orlov because of that. And because Orlov, if it was allowed to exist, there would be a risk of World War III. So Eldora destroying Orlov did prevent World War III. And Meg wants to try to visit Orlov to learn about her past. Faust lets her. Then the Council of Magic asks Meg to like basically study different countries that were affected by magic disasters, including Orlov. So basically, it makes it more official. And so Meg says bye to everyone from the town, and then Meg leaves to learn about her past, do the investigations, and collect tears of joy, and fulfill her greed because as she wants a bunch of wealth, bunch of fame. Basically, she also wants a harem. So yeah, yeah. So yeah, I thought this was a good episode, good end to the season, and looks like to the series. I would, I'd be fine with the second season. Seems like I would like to see what's deal with a lot of these other countries. Or like, there's a lot of world building that could be done, and I'd be interested in seeing what happens in those other seasons. So yeah, I really like these episodes. Really like this episode. That was good as far as the full series. That was a good, decent series. Had some good humor. The magic stuff was cool. The whole premise, the whole world was interesting. A lot of the characters were funny. It was some good humor. you know. So yeah, I like this series. I would like a season two. Apocalypse Hotel episode 11. So in this one, Yacho, seen some wear and tear, so Ponko suggests that she takes a day off. Which is not something you expect a robot to need, but a robot is machine. If you use it too much, parts, get weary and, you know, due to fatigue stress, engineering stuff, use it too much, it'll wear out and break down. So Yacho just takes some time off. She like even gets a room in the hotel and like dresses very casually. Then she like just wanders around. Does her like goes to the hot springs for a little bit. Let's see. And it's funny how in her hotel room she inspects like everything to make sure that her room is correct, which it is. Yeah, and she's just like just walking around. She comes across this horse, and like it's like was like this flying horse that like at some point and flies her back to like the hotel. It's real to be someone's pet. See, I was like, it was just a random episode. Basically, is very filler. But it was a nice episode. Interesting. Really nothing, not a lot of dialogue. So yeah, I like this episode. Um, Looking forward to the next one. Chainsaw Man, Chapter 206. So in this one, Chainsaw Man, comes across, the falling devil, who he calls Chest Woman for obvious reasons. And so, Denji, wants to save Asa. And so Fallen Devil's like, hey, you can save her. I don't care. But as long as you don't get in my way. Because, like, Fallen Devil wants to plunge, as she puts it, plunge mankind into an abyss of terror. So she, like, starts causing a bunch of buildings to fall. And, they're, like, about to, like, kill people. Then, like, this is, like, an interesting one. So, like, a bunch of people are falling. And, Fallen Devil calls, like, this one character, like, this one kid who's falling, she calls him, the Lady Death Devil's precious pawn. And so then, Asa, like, aims her finger in, like, a finger gun, like, when she's about to shoot. War Devil tells her to not do that because both of them be blown away, but Asa doesn't listen, so she says bang, you know, does an explosion, and basically she, like, breaks herself free. And then, Denji, like, jumps after, like, is, like, falling in the air, and Asa jumps and grabs onto, like, Denji, and that's how the chapter ends. So, yeah, the same chapter, it looks like, Asa's gained some control over, definitely has gained some control over her War Devil powers. Now, how much this could hint at something with her not listening to the War Devil, how that could potentially lead to a conflict with the Falling Devils, like, you know, all her stuff. Interesting to see, like, is Chainsaw Man gonna start and War Devil gonna start fighting the Falling Devil? Like, that could be an interesting fight. So yeah, I like this chapter. Like, look forward to next week's. Looks like stuff is finally starting to pick up. Lego Masters American version, season 5, episode 5. So in this one, so you have like a head to head where you have each team is going against another one, and the winner, goes to the top four. The loser goes to the bottom four. And so you have basically some head to head. So like what each team has to do is take like this moving machine where it's a twist, a swing, a push, or a spin, and basically use whatever that motion to like inspire a build. So you have see some. So one group makes a jukebox, one group makes a pineapple monster that tries to take over this like pizza store because it's retarded and thinks that pineapple belongs on pizza. It does not. Gary from Nerd Reich, if you ever see this, pineapple does not belong on pizza. And I will die on that hill. And you have a few other builds. And this was a very like the builds, most part, were actually pretty good. Like there's a lot of builds. And so like how the motions worked, how there was it was actually very interesting. And I liked it. So in this, your your top four teams. So the four face-off winners were Corey and Rebecca, Ann and Luke, Maya and Jamie, and Anthony and Joe. And amongst those four, the top team was Corey and Rebecca. Now in the bottom four, the teams were like the teams that were in the bottom four. You had Ben and Michael, Ian, Sage, um, John, Justin, and Nikki and Britton. Now, the team amongst those four teams that was eliminated was Nikki and Britton because their motion wasn't as effective as the others, like in how it affected like the build. And so they were eliminated. Now, one criticism I have is how the whole thing about they're gonna inspire female Lego builders, fellow sister Lego builders. I'm like, I don't care. Legos are Legos. You can build, you can build. I don't freaking care. If you're a good team, I don't care. I mean, season one season one's winner had a female on the team. With Tyler and Amy, and that's so I opinion doesn't matter. Yes, most Lego fans are males due to types of sets. Most sets being more like has a lot higher percentage of male fans, whereas female fans it's a lot like your Duplo stuff. But I'm like I don't care about the whole gender thing. I just wanted a good Lego build. So yeah, that part was annoying, but overall, this episode was good. I liked it, like the builds. Thought they were interesting. Look forward to next week because next week they're doing Batman builds. Right, they're doing Batman, which took them forever because Will Arnett voiced Batman in all those Lego movies. Like I was like, how have we not done Batman? But finally, they're doing Batman. So I am excited for that. Well, that's it. Did y'all like the stuff I reviewed? And if you have your own opinions about all that, you can put all that in the comments. Thank you for watching, and like, subscribe, and all that. And look forward to the next video.